So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Cliff Cash, who's a very talented comedian who lives here in Wilmington. A known fan of Donald Trump. You can see he's wearing a red hat. And with that, I turn it over to Cliff.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me? I am wearing a red hat. It says Trump is a pedophile. We have a pedophile, rapist, con man, Russian asset, Israeli asset in our White House. And if our leaders won't remove him, we're going to have to. And I know that sounds daunting, but I want you to know this. He didn't win. He didn't win. We did not send a Jewish Democrat to the governor's mansion by almost 15 points and elect Donald Trump. He did not win. He didn't win. He wasn't shot. He's in the files. Okay? I want to just tell you a couple quick things about what I'm doing because I want you to support them, hopefully. I've got a multi-part plan, and this is it. I've been doing this now for almost a year. In-person congressional pressure. On January 6th of this year, I organized a protest in D.C. I had less than 100 people there. We went into the halls of Congress, and we begged these people. It was on January 3rd, before the 6th. We begged these people, please bring up the 14th Amendment Article 3. This guy is constitutionally disqualified from being president. We begged them in all their offices. Not even the bravest ones that you love. Not even the bravest ones objected to the certification of the vote of this pedophile who's now squatting illegally in our White House. Not the bravest ones. That was my first protest in D.C. My most recent protest in D.C. was November 20th through the 22nd. It was called Remove the Regime. We led over 1,000 people into the halls of Congress to tell them, do your job or expect to lose it. And then we had tens of thousands around the reflection pool in front of the Lincoln Memorial. We marched through the streets of D.C. We shut down the streets of D.C. for 2 hours. My multi-part plan is in-person congressional pressure. They care a lot more if you show up in their office and make them uncomfortable. Every day, you're waking up with dread in the pit of your stomach, and I'm asking you, I'm begging you to go to their offices and make them feel the way they are making you feel. In-person congressional pressure. On February 17th, we're leading citizens into every district, local, state office of every congressperson in this country. 535 total congresspeople, multiple offices per person. We're asking people all over the country to go into their offices and walk the line just shy of being physically removed. We're asking you to go into their offices and get as close as you legally can to their faces and say, do your job or expect to lose your job. Remove him or expect the people of this country to remove him. Second part of this plan is in-person pressure at the Heritage Foundation. We started that in March. There's now a protest every single Monday at the Heritage Foundation in Washington, D.C. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. If you can get to D.C., every Monday you will be led by people who know what they're doing into the halls of Congress so you can go right up to Mike Johnson's door. You can go right up to Mike Johnson's door and say, we don't care that you're gay, but stop taking rights away from people who are brave enough to be themselves. The next thing is pressure on Fox News and other disinformation networks. If Hitler had his disinformation network disabled 1 year into his reign, you wouldn't know his name. It is a powerful weapon, and we have to shut it down. So these days of action, gathering in parks to sing Kumbaya to each other, it's amazing, it's beautiful. But we need to go outside the offices of every Fox affiliate in this country, and we need to say, start telling the truth, or we won't be this nice next time we show up. The last part of this plan is amplifying the voices of progressive veterans. We need to be holding town halls, veteran-centric town halls all over the country to let these people be heard. They fought for this country, whether it was right or wrong at the time, they fought for this country. They deserve to be heard. And then they need to be filmed and they need to be amplified online. If we did that all over this country, if 6 months ago every day of action was outside Fox News or outside Heritage or outside ICE or outside of Velo, we would be in a drastically different place now, wouldn't we? If we had been organizing progressive veterans all over this country for the last 6 or 12 months, we would be in a drastically different place right now, wouldn't we? Let's not feel that way 6 months from now. There are many stories of immigrants being treated horribly. There's a genocide happening, multiple genocides happening, from Gaza to Ukraine and others. There are a lot of injustices in this country, but I want to tell you about one that really stuck in my head. A guy named Narcisco Franco was tackled to the ground by these masked hillbillies who are not actually law enforcement. They're not. What they're doing is illegal. Do not comply. Do not go with them. They tackled this man to the ground and punched him in his face. He was weed eating. They punched him in his face over and over, and then they held him illegally for 20 days. He's married to a U.S. citizen. All 3 of his sons are members of the U.S. military. And when his sons got to talk to him, he didn't complain. He didn't ask for help. None of that. What he said to his sons was, "They got me before I could finish my job." He said to his sons, "Please go back where I was working and finish my work. Go finish my work." That's what he said to his sons, because he's a good man. There are no good men in MAGA. There are no good people in MAGA. Cut them out of your life. Cut them out of your life. That could be the thing that breaks them up. That man, that's what he said to his sons, is, "I have a job to do, and I need you to finish that job." And I'm telling you today, all of you white people, I know what kind of white people you are because you're here. You need to tell the other white people in your life that they better let everybody know what kind of white person they are too. It's way past time to be silent or nice. You put a sign in your yard, you put a post on your page, and you have a yell in your voice, and you let everybody know what kind of white boy you are. I'm a John Brown white boy. That's what kind of white boy I am. And just like that man said that day to his sons, "I've got a job to do and it's not done." We have a job to do and it is not done. On February 17th, you have to go into their offices and you have to say, "You remove this fascist regime or the citizens of this country will remove it for you." Thank you. I love you. Shalom Ukraine. Free Palestine.
Well, thank you, Cliff. That was a rousing speech, and we really appreciate your commitment. And if you will, perhaps you could share with me later your contact information for the February 17th event, so people can go online or otherwise sign up.
Sorry, that's a very important part. I'm Cliff Cash Comedy on all social media. I'm a comedian. Believe it or not, I know that wasn't very funny. And I'm working with multiple organizations. One of them is called Flare USA. That's flareusa.org. You can find all the information for February 17th through me or through Flare. And 5051 National is going to be backing this action on February 17th. It took us a year to get them on board, but they are finally on board. So Cliff Cash Comedy, reach out anytime. I'll be posting about it profusely. Thank you.